All right, this hangout is on air live. What's up, everybody? This is Marshall Lee of DonkeyJawProjects.com, and today is episode 9 of Making Comics with Marsh and Chris, the weekly check-in. We go back and forth on each channel each week. Next week will be on Chris's channel. This week it's on mine. And yeah, we're checking in about our progress on our comic projects and all that. And so, Chris, how are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm this week just absolutely flew. I don't know where it went. It has been a ball buster of a week for sure. I'm actually really glad that this week's over, so I can get into next week and hopefully get into a normal routine again. But I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Kind of had some issues, as a lot of those watching will probably already know, because a lot of them have actually shared some of my posts. But had a little bit of issue. The other cat that we have, I mentioned recently that one of our cats passed away. And then so the other cat was kind of declining in health, and we weren't sure what was going on. And over the past weekend, we thought that the cat was, we were pretty much sure that the cat was dying, our other cat. And, it was really sad and stuff. And we literally were bringing it to the vet to put him down because it was not looking good. And the vet was like, well, he's not actually dying. He just needs this, and this, and blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, I was relieved and happy and stuff. But at the same time, I left that appointment with a pretty hefty bill. And I had to pay it there. We don't have any kind of credit or anything we can put it on. So that put a big hole in my bank account, and now I'm struggling to get rent. I'm pretty far away from making rent right now. So I started doing this, started getting the commissions going, and put up a bunch of my original art, or my original comic pages up on my store. And so, yeah, I've been working that hustle more than anything, So it's been a kind of a crazy end of the week for sure. And it was already going to be close with rent, so I was kind of already in that mode the whole week, really. So yeah, that's where I've been at.
That's pretty hectic, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Like, I knew you were in trouble, but I didn't know why. So that's yeah, that sucks so much.
Yeah, it's not fun.
I mean, there's one shining light out of it, and that means like your cat's going to be okay, and you're on top of it, and you don't have to lose your cat, which is a fantastic thing. I mean, like, I'm a big pet lover, so that's if there's any shining light out of it, there's that.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of, even that is kind of rough too, because the cat he's not like eating by himself, so we have to like force feed him, and like, so there's a lot of work now with the cat too. Which I actually, whatever, it's fine. It's kind of, we're just happy that we have him, so we kind of have fun with it. But but yeah, it's definitely, that's the shining light. So yeah, it's weird. Like, when I got pets, like, first of all, I'm not exactly a cat person, but because of my wife, I've become sort of one. And it's just funny because, well, it's crazy because, like, having this stuff happen recently, it's like I feel like I almost don't want pets, because I don't want to go through this process. This is not fun, But at the same time, I'm happy to have them when I do, So it's kind of a tough thing, I guess.
Man. Well, hopefully it's onwards and upwards for you, man. Did you want to do like a bit of a spiel, like to let people know what sort of deals you're doing, or you want to talk about that later? Or
Oh, yeah, I mean, I guess just at the top, we can just say that I am open for commissions, so hit me up anywhere if you're interested. I did put some prices up on all my social media. There's, if you look at my posts, I'm doing actually this kind of, I'm calling them envelope sketches. I thought it would be kind of a fun, quick way and cheap way for postage as well, where like literally I have two envelope sizes, and you know, I can, if people want a sketch card for like $5, I'll send them one in this. If they want a 4x6, that's kind of like this, I'll send them you know, that. So like, you know, you can get a black and white version or a colored version. So there's that, and then there's digital options, and really whatever anybody's interested in, I'll find a way to do it and a good price for it. But and then of course the comic pages are up on my shop, donkeyjawprojects.com/shop, and that though, you know, those are at a very low price for comic pages. So yeah, you know, get in on some cool stuff if you're interested, and let me know if there's anything I didn't mention that you'd like me to do. And I'm open for it all, because I got, even after, you know, the next few days or whatever, I'm just going to keep going for probably maybe even a couple months. I don't know. And just, I got to make up some cash. So
I actually tried to just post a link to the to your store in the chat, but it doesn't let you post links in the chat, so that sucks. But
there is a link to my website in the show notes,
okay,
which brings you to Attack the Lizard Brain comic, but you can kind of scroll from there.
yeah,
You just click on shop or whatever, you know, you get there.
beautiful. All right, hopefully, hopefully, can get a bit of attention and help you out, man.
That would be rad.
Yeah, and I'll be sharing your stuff at the end of this episode too, and see what we can do, man. See if we can get a bit of hustle going for you.
Yeah, and I just want to say too, like all the community, like a lot of you guys watching and everything have shared, you know, my posts on the commissions and all that, and I have gotten some sales and stuff. So I mean, I just really appreciate the support. I definitely feel the love. You know, everybody's doing what they can. If they can't buy something, they're sharing it, and it's just really cool.
Good,
So
man.
yeah, appreciate it. All right, so let's get into comics, though.
Yes, sick.
So I've spoken long enough here, so I'll let you go first, and let's see how you did this week with the comics.
Yeah, cool. Like I said, man, this past week has just been a nightmare for me. I think I mentioned it in the past. Like, we at work have been down a guy for the whole month, and last week was sort of like the bottleneck of the workload, and everything just got really insane. So I was pushing just like extra hours all over the place, like starting early, finishing late. So it really put a damper in my time, because by the time I was getting home, I was just super exhausted. There were days where I just didn't want to do anything. And to be honest, I can't even remember what my goals were for last week. Stupid me, I didn't even write them down. But I did do some really productive things, but I just kept them really chilled out in regards to what I did. Before I get to that, I did have a really cool mail week where I got a copy of the first children's book that I've done, which is this one
cool.
here. Yeah, so this one's called Amelia Faces Her Anxiety. It's by a publisher called Popo Books, and it's a family-owned company, publishing company, and they do books which are designed as readers to help kids learn to read and understand what they're reading and why they're reading it. You know, it's sort of your standard, like, spot illustrations, this sort of stuff. You can buy them online. They're much more for for younger kids and kids who struggle to read, but they're also really good to talk about issues as well. Like, this one's about a young girl who suffers anxiety and how she overcomes that. Is one of the big illustrations for one of the feature books, and that came with like this little question guide as well. So they've just repurposed the illustrations, and see if I can find a page where they just break down what's happening on the page. This one's probably one of my favorite illustrations. It's like in a little classroom. I was pretty proud of that. So that was
That's
nice to
really
see.
cool.
Thanks, man. That was really nice to see that sort of come to fruition because I finished that one at the beginning of last year. So not long after I started work at my new job. So that was really cool. It's been a bit of time in the making, so that was exciting.
Really, that I didn't realize that it started that long ago, and yeah, I didn't want to say it before because when you talk, then it shows your screen, so I didn't want to mess that up.
Oh,
But yeah, it looks really awesome. Like it's like I don't know, it's just so cool to see Finland art. Like I recognize your style right away, and then it's like in this nice like format of a nice printed book. And I mean, I have
yeah.
right at my desk here, I have a bunch of your books, but it's just cool to see it again in this like professional, format. It's really cool. Looks
Yeah,
awesome.
like it's going to be exciting. There's, I think I just finished the fourth or the fifth book in the series that they're doing, so it's going to be exciting to like get them as time goes on and like just build a little collection of work that I've done, and hopefully it garners more work in the future as well.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was pretty exciting. And I've got a couple of other books which were just some books that I'd ordered online, which was cool. But onto sort of what I'd actually done this week. One of the main things that I did comic wise was work on Monkey Junk. So I'd finished all of the pages and I was talking about how I was putting all the book together. So what I did over the week was actually put the book together ready for print. Um, I mentioned that I got some comic book samples, of different paper qualities and everything. And there's a video eventually which I'll upload. But um, I've pretty much collated the whole book ready to go to print, and I did a test print today, just as a mock-up. So what you can see, like this is just on A4 paper, which is just our standard letter size paper, roughly letter sized. And then what you see, within the white is what the actual size of the book's going to be. And I've just put the book together as how it would actually read. So because it's been done in webcomic form, this is the first time I've actually seen it over the double page spread. And then you've got like a few little bonuses in the back there, like, sketches and things like that, which you can pretty much get on the sketchbook that I've got up for free anyway. And there's like the back cover there. So that's really cool to actually see it, as a, sort of finished book in a sense.
I forget if you said, yeah, it's awesome. Like I do that sometimes too, and it's always cool to see that little mock-ups.
Mm.
Um, I forget if you said if you decided for sure are you going to kickstart this issue or.
Yes, I have. So that was one of the things I did this week, was set up a Kickstarter. So now that I've got the book, I've had to get a quote from the printers and get some prices together. So once I've got those prices, I can actually launch the Kickstarter. So that's what I'll be doing this week. Other than that, the other thing I've been working on is just my business plan. So I think it's been like 3 weeks now since we talked about the 5-year plan, but I'm still working on trying to figure out what the goal is so I can finish my 5-year plan. But I'm drawing ever closer to it. I've really locked in what I want to do and how I'm going to be formatting things. I don't know if did I talk much about this last week about what I decided that I was going to do, or
I feel like you talked a little bit, but go ahead and fill us in.
yeah. So I pretty much just put all my eggs in all the different baskets and tried to figure out, where the most eggs were, and that was in teaching, teaching people to draw, and
Right.
I really enjoy that the most out of everything, and that's one of the main things that gets the most attention as well. So I've decided that that's the direction I'm going to be leading to. So I've started putting together plans of how I'm going to be tackling that, and starting to write down lessons, what lessons I'm actually going to be doing, how I'm going to format the lessons, and how I'm going to provide them online as free and paid resources. So I probably spent like a good 4+ hours just working on that, writing out a brief for myself, doing research, looking at other YouTube channels, other how to draw books and things like that, seeing what they do and how I can adapt it myself. So I've got a pretty solid plan and I'm ready to get started. So I'll probably focus a bit heavier on Monkey Junk this week, just so I can get the Kickstarter ready. The sooner I start it, the sooner I can get the funding and hopefully get the funding and get the book out. But, that's sort of been my week. It hasn't been very art heavy. It's been a lot of like background planning and writing and thinking and just getting the ball rolling on those things. I did some sketching in my sketchbook, but like that's sort of not really fancy or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like it has been productive. It's just a different kind of productive.
So that's cool that you're getting to know, and you did talk about this last week, but that you're getting to know that you probably want to, or that you do want to focus on teaching and stuff. And is so when you're formulating this plan, I mean, I'm assuming that you're not formulating it as all you're going to do is teach. Like you're still planning on going heavy on the comics and stuff and artwork, or
Yeah. So I'll still be working on Monkey Junk continuously as well. And what I'm going to be doing, the way I'm actually going to be laying out these plans, are they're going to be in comic format as well. So pretty much the whole way through, going to be just creating comics and hopefully getting better with comics at the same time. And I'm going to be putting them together in physical books as well as ebooks. So yeah, I'm just going to be trying to find a balance between getting Monkey Junk done as well as getting these lesson plans done. So,
well, you definitely have some good models to look at, or at the very least, examples of people who do both, like Jake Parker, Justin Brubaker, or Jason Brubaker, and, so, I mean, it's not like it seems like actually that's a pretty common avenue that comics artists tend to go. So,
yeah. Well, my ultimate goal is going to be to eventually be able to sort of open a brick and mortar shop where people can actually come and do, one-on-one lessons. Have a studio that artists can hire out, but there'll also be a dedicated studio for people to come and learn. From kids to adults, of any age. And then I can host the classes and maybe even encourage other artists to come and host classes as well, so they can even look at making an income for themselves, or like a side gig that they can do. I think like looking now, it's always been a goal of mine to own a studio in some capacity, so that I see working quite well if the lessons work well.
That's pretty cool. The way I've always thought about it would be like kind of a cool idea is to do it like either do it in a comic shop, or I've always kind of dreamed of owning a comic shop and doing it differently than every comic shop I've ever seen before, because most of them suck. I mean, I love going to comic shops and stuff, but I've just been to so many that just I'm like, and maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about because I don't know the realities of owning one, but I have researched it a bit, and I just feel like there's so much more that they could do, and I don't know. Anyways, teaching has always been an aspect of what I would want to do in a comic shop as well. So I don't know. That's one thought or avenue maybe you'd like to go.
I kind of picture my studio being like a tattoo shop where you walk in and you've got almost like a gallery at the front with a little shop front, or like a little counter, and then behind that, like behind the wall, you've got all the artist studios in the classroom, so that they're sort of hidden from public sight, and people can sort of come in, peruse, and all of the artists who work there have the advantage of having that wall space where they can sell their wares. Just passes by, so you've got that extra bit of income coming in.
Right.
You could set up a little shelf, and anyone who's making comics can sell their comics, or if you're just doing prints, you could have like a little some framed artwork and sell your prints, or you could sell all your original work, etc. So I don't know, like there's plenty of ideas sort of flinging around in my head. It's just trying to figure out, you know, this original, the base plan, and then if
Yeah.
that works and that's generating enough income, that will then, you know, I need to be able to make a living off of that plus enough money to open the studio as well. So, you know, it's going to be a real hustle, but I think I can do it. I think there's enough people in the world who want to learn drawing, and there's never enough resources to learn to draw. So, adding myself into the mix, I think, is going to be, yeah, it's not going to be hard to sort of slide myself in amongst all of the others who are doing this as well. And if I market myself properly, then um, you know, I can do really well. And I think that's going to be the biggest part of it, is not just doing the lessons and making them available, but actually going out and sourcing viewers and, you know, new students who want to learn. That's going to be the hardest part,
Hmm.
but that's also going to be the easiest part as well, because, you know, there's thousands upon thousands of people who want to learn to draw. And,
Yeah.
you know, just being on YouTube in the past year alone has proven to me that um, there's a lot of people out there who want to learn to draw. They want to learn to draw for free, and they want to learn to draw quickly. So if I can help them do that in some shape, way, or form, then it could be a very successful venture.
Well, I'll tell you one thing too is there's a lot of holes to be filled as far as just different subjects to teach. And you've already had some success with this stuff on YouTube when you've given it a shot. So I think that's going to work out pretty good. But like, there's actually a few things that I was looking for recently that I'm like, why is there not a video that is specifically on this? So then my thought is like, okay, I'm going to make that video, you know?
Yeah.
But like one of them I was looking up just for an example was how to draw a crowd scene. I literally could not find one video on YouTube that talks about how to draw a crowd scene. And everybody always talks about how they hate the idea of drawing a crowd scene. But maybe there's some techniques to make it better or easier, you know what I mean? So like
Yep. I'll have to write that one down. And,
I'm definitely going to try to tackle that myself, but everybody, you can do it too. Like that's the thing that's awesome about this teaching stuff is, you know, even if somebody else is doing it, you can still have plenty of success because everybody likes different kind of teachers and whatnot. You know what I mean?
yeah, well, that's it. You know, I've got, like, I even see on in the YouTube comments, you got some people who really take a lot from what I have to say, but then there's those people who are just like, "Will you just stop talking and just show me how to draw?"
Right.
And I mean, like, when I see those comments, I'm like, "Well, you know, it's not that easy, man. Like, I can't just teach you how to draw in 5 minutes."
Yeah.
Um, but you know, the people who actually sit down and take the time to learn, they're the ones who are going to get the most out of it, and you know, they're the ones who are going to continue to come back because they, you know, they like the way that I'm teaching, they like what I have to offer. So, you know, I think I'll find my place, and there's going to be people who like it, and there's going to be people who don't like it. Um, but you know, the people who like it will hopefully stick around and, um, I suppose, inadvertently support me by doing something for themselves. So,
Hmm.
and you know, looking forward to that feeling of, you know, meeting people who I can help and seeing them progress. You know, that's always the best feeling when, you know, when I'm teaching. So
Yeah. I wish you the best of luck, and I think you're going to do well because, again, you know, we've already seen that you're pretty competent with it and can have some good success with it. So.
thanks, man. Yeah, that makes me feel pretty confident. Actually, it's yeah. There's always that negative thing in my mind. It's funny. Like the past couple of weeks in my head, I've been so strung up on the idea of going, do I just use my name as my brand, like as Chris McQuillan Art, or do I now try and figure out a new brand and start from scratch? And like I was talking to someone the other day about it, and as I was talking about it, I realized that I'd already figured out the answer, but I just kept creating this excuse to prevent myself from pushing forward.
Hmm.
And once I sort of realized that I was I was the one preventing myself from advancing further into this venture. Um, it helped me just go, well, just keep doing what you're doing now. If it's going to change, you'll figure that out later. But for right now, just keep the steam, just smash through it. Get
Yeah.
to a point where you can, actually start showing, people that you're doing what you're telling them that you're going to do. So
Hmm.
it's almost like I'm just telling people that I'm going to teach because I want to be held accountable. But
Mm.
I suppose it's almost like the 100 days, like this personal thing in my head where I want people to be aware of what I'm doing. So next time I see them, they'll ask me about it.
Hmm.
But next time they ask me about it, I want to be able to go, oh yeah, man, like check out my website. You can there's already 5 lessons on there. You can check them out now. Like I don't want to be like, yeah, so I've got a list of things that I'm going to teach them to draw, and it's like, okay, that's progress, but that's some shitty fucking progress.
Yeah. Well, I actually came across a pretty cool podcast. Tyler James. He does the Kickstarter podcast and Comics Launch and Comics Tribe, all that stuff.
Yep.
Um, he one of the things he was saying was, one of the reasons why people there's like two different people who make progress, and some of them are like happy, like people making progress and being happy, and some of them are making progress and being miserable. And he said the happy ones are the ones that actually they actually accomplish things, like they actually like they're making progress, and those things are actually being finished, some of a lot of that. And the unhappy ones are still making the same amount of progress, and this is the one I tend to be in. And still making like a lot of progress, but they're not actually finishing anything. And so it gets very frustrating because you feel like you're doing stuff, but it just amounts to activity and nothing tangible. And then he talked about like, you know, figure taking all the projects you're working on and try to see which ones you can kind of get done in the next 90 days or whatever, and try to finish things, because you'll be much happier, and you'll be actually making progress.
Yep. Yep. And like the way I look at it is, I like exactly what you said. Looking at where I can make the progress and have something to show for it within like 90 days. Um, but that other drive of, and so there's some people out there who be like, that's selfish or whatever, or, you're just doing it for money. It's like, well, this is going to be a business and I want the business to work.
Hmm.
Without having product, I can't make money. And without making money, I can't run a business. So
Right.
the sooner I get content out there and the sooner I can start putting a dollar value to that content, the sooner that business is going to start building. And the more that business starts building, the more I can push further to go, okay, this is working. I'll create more content. As I create more content, hopefully I'll make more income. And by the time I've made enough, I'll be able to leave my job and work full time, which will then create more time for both the business as well as my personal projects.
Sounds like a business plan.
Yeah, like I said, I've spent a lot of time this week thinking about it and writing things down and creating plans. So it's good.
Good stuff,
Um,
man.
anyway, man, enough about me. How has your week been, art wise, wise?
Oh, I know we have like less than 10 minutes here now.
Oh, shit.
That's all right. I knew it was going to be kind of cut short here a little bit, but so let's see. Yeah, it's my week has been crazy, as I said. I guess I kind of already got into it a lot. I have been working on my comics. I missed my one day a week. I did miss a day, and it was the day that all this kind of went down. So it is what it is. But I did my best. Some of at this point, my comic work is making progress, but it's not making the progress I want to, because I have to focus on other things more a little bit. But and it's kind of going to be that way, sort of. I mean, hopefully I can make some real progress, but I'm gonna probably be sticking with the half an hour a day and letting being okay with just that for a little while because I gotta obviously make some cash.
Yeah.
So it just is what it is. It's not what I want to do, but it's what I have to do. So, um,
I mean,
so
is
yeah,
that of like all these commissions that you're going to have to start doing, or will you be doing 30 minutes on your stuff and then all the other time on commissions?
yeah, I'm going to work on comics 30 minutes every day. I mean, I'm not
Nice.
going to stop doing that. At least, maybe it's possible I might get more in, but really, if I'm starting to get more in, then I probably need to say, you know what, I need to stop doing this and work on commission type stuff because I need to make, again, the reality of things.
Yeah.
So, I mean that's what I've been doing the last, few days, and that's what I'm going to continue doing. So that's really all of it in a nutshell at this point for me.
Yep. Yep.
What about you with your goals? What do you got going for next week or this week?
As far as my goals are concerned, I need to finalize the comic book, get it proofread, and make sure I don't need to make any changes.
Hmm.
And go through it as well. That's why I printed this out so I can actually go through page by page and actually look at how the book looks finished,
Hmm.
and see if there's any changes that I need to make before I send it to the printers.
Hmm.
It's annoying because I've noticed there's a few things that I didn't take into account properly when I was putting this book together. So some of the bleeds don't bleed properly, so I need to see if there's solutions for that.
Hmm.
Um, other than that, I'm just going to continue on with this business plan and actually start working on lessons. So I won't actually be drawing the lessons or like putting them together, but I'll be writing down each lesson so I know what I then need to draw. So I'm going to try and run them like comic book scripts because
Hmm.
it can be a comic book page, and I want to also be able to pull them apart and use them for Instagram posts as well because this will be free content. So people will be able to just go onto the Instagram page or go into my website or however they want to do it. So I'll probably maybe even just take like the first 5 lessons, plan them out in script format, and maybe even try and consider laying those out as well. So we haven't finished chapter 2 of Monkey Junk yet. So while I'm waiting on that, I can do this as a sort of a side thing, as far and still maintain some form of comic book work, I suppose. But those
Yeah,
are
I
going,
mean,
yeah, the two main
I
things.
think I think that those the nuts and bolts, like not creating a comic, but at the same time you're doing very essential things. Like sometimes I actually like that work because it's like you don't have to think as much. You just have to do the stuff, but it's just not quite as fun, and it's not what you envisioned doing. But you're putting your creativity at least into something else now too. So you have that with
Yeah,
the
kind of
lessons and stuff.
frustrating, like having finished the children's book and everything. Like I'd been in touch with the writer, and they want me to work on another book for them, which is really
Mhm.
tempting because I could use the money, but
Yeah,
I would much rather focus my time now on the business now that I actually know that that's what I want to do. That's my goal.
yeah,
Like I could do that hustle and just make a little bit of extra cash, but I'd much rather put the extra time in and make the cash doing it myself and being able to
yeah.
keep profits.
Well, I mean, years down the line, will you regret having not taken that one job, or will you regret having not built your business up?
Yeah, I think I'll regret not starting the business now and
Yeah,
just continuously putting it off for the short term income. I'd rather
yeah,
work long term, while we can still pay the rent comfortably. No offense. um, whilst things are running smooth, this is probably the best opportunity to do it. So
absolutely. I
yeah,
agree.
yeah. So that's going to be my week. Hopefully some comic related stuff, but for the most part, just um, some slow burning things. Oh, and getting the Kickstarter finished and ready to launch too.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, that
Yeah.
sounds like some stuff. I'm writing them down. And yeah, so for me, again, it's just gonna be trying to make that Monet, and also working on comics. I'm working on Glyph. So actually, I had another idea for a comic yesterday, which I think is going to be. I think it's going to be what I work on after Glyph, and it's going to be something that I give away for free on as like a to subscribe for my newsletter or whatever type of thing. So
Yeah, yeah, good idea.
um, and it kind of represents the brand and stuff pretty good too. Like it's a story that goes with it well, so that'll be kind of fun, and so I'm
Okay,
looking
cool.
forward to that. But yeah, that's about it for me.
Nice, man. Well, I do hope your week picks up from here on, and I do hope that you can manage to score some commissions and hopefully get yourself back on track too. So I'll be sure to share the post on my social media, and I hope everyone who's watching will also show their support and do the same for you as well. I know there's a lot of people in the hundreds who watch this, so there's plenty of you guys there in the group. So you guys do a bit of hustle for Marsh and see if you can help a guy out, eh?
Appreciate that, man. So yeah, I guess that's a show. I really, appreciate everybody watching. I know Adam was in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us, man. I do want to just check to make sure I didn't miss any comments. I don't think I did.
No.
But yeah, shout out to Adam. He also is helping support by sharing and stuff too. So that's really cool. So yeah, so without further ado, where can we find you, Mr. Chris?
You guys can find me online at Chris McQuinlan Art on Facebook, Instagram, ArtStation, and all those other good things. I'm most primarily active at the moment on the Monkey Junk Comic Instagram page. So you can just find that by searching Monkey Junk Comic. And there's also a Facebook page as well for you non-Instagrammers. But yeah, that's me. What about you, dude?
Same thing with Instagram. Marshall Lee _DJP. That's the main place where I've been putting stuff. And then also donkeyjawprojects.com/shop if you want to help support. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And we really appreciate you guys watching on the replay and live. And we're going to sign out for today, and we'll see you again next week, Monday or Tuesday.
Okay. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you. Peace out.
3, 2,